Hey guys, give me a 5 for 5 and we'll roll on out. Sound good, sound good, sound good. Wait for the 5. Hey Miss V. Hey Jerry, hey Miss Dragon. Big Buzz, Lori. Joe, Daryl, good to see you. Good to see you, everybody. Are we all good in there, guys? 5 for 5. All right. Aloha, Gunslinger. Jammer. Stephanie. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump into it, guys, so we can get to all the stuff we need to talk about, because we got a few things to talk about. First thing I want to talk about, guys, we are under a geomagnetic storm warning. All that means is they are expecting geomagnetic storms well, as you can see here, we're real close to G1 already. So I think this is from the co-rotating interaction region, the CIR I talked about yesterday, in between the two solar wind streams where the particles build up, and it kind of hits, and it resembles like a CME hit, just an increased density of the particles. Okay, so that's kind of what you're seeing when you see something like this. Looks very much like a CME, and we can confirm that by looking at the Discover data and see how we did. Remember, I talked about the -6 yesterday on the BZ, the polarity of our magnetic field. We did get the -6. Didn't go too far south, right? Too far negative. But kind of crept back up, went back down. This is fairly normal for what we see. Right now, we're currently kind of at neutral, 0, right? You can kind of think of this black line up here as kind of like the overall power that's available. Okay? That's a very layman's way to explain what the BT is. There's so much more to that. Okay? And I'm not going to get into what and why and how. But what I will say is that it does matter. Hey, Trish. Miss B. Jammer's in the house. Leisure, what's up? So, yeah, guys, if you could share it out, too, if you would. I would really appreciate it. But, yeah, if you're new here, guys, please hit that like button, Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. It does help. I promise you. So, anyway. Best thing you guys can do to help me is to share it. To be honest, watch and share. That's really where, YouTubers become very successful when they can get their base subscribers and everybody to kind of do that. Let's face it, if nobody's watching, the information ain't going to go nowhere. So, like yesterday, guys, like I said, we did have... let's go ahead and pull this up, because I do want to show you the solar tsunami first. And now, listen, when we say solar tsunami, it's I showed it to you guys already. I just didn't call it that yesterday. Okay, yesterday, I said look at it rippling through the corona. I don't recall calling it a tsunami. I might have, because that is a commonly used term for that. For what we're looking at. And so I explained that yesterday, and I didn't use the word solar tsunami. So I'm going to go into that just a little bit today so everybody understands. And the reason why is because I'm seeing a whole lot of other people calling it a solar tsunami, which it was, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I just didn't use that terminology yesterday. I've talked about it before, but what the heck, man? Okay, come on. Are you going to do anything here, or what? That thing's just sitting there and spinning. Really? Huh. Okay. Well, let's back that off. We can try some other things. Is everything still okay in there? Am I still 5 for 5? Yeah, I mean, I still got all my bit rate and everything. Must be SDO having an issue. Okay. Well, we can go look at it somewhere else. We will go look at it over here. It is one. Let's see if this thing loads. Oh my goodness. Is it really going to do this to me? There it goes. Okay. So, I guess change of plans. What we'll do here, seeing how I got you here on the 131, this right here is SDO, the same satellite I just tried to show you on the other side. So, this is the 131. I'm going to go ahead and show you the solar tsunami on this angstrom, and then we'll look at it on the 211. Okay? Let me back it up. You won't be able to see it very well on this one, but it does show the flare really, really well. So we're looking over here for those that didn't watch yesterday. So we'll back this up. It's not hard to see, obviously. And again, I showed this to you guys yesterday. Now, it was long duration, like I said. It wasn't like extremely long, but it was a long duration flare. And what I mean by that is obviously, common sense would tell you, hey, it lasted longer, right? But we can tell that by this X-ray signature here, okay? See how it went straight up and then it tailed off? It just didn't go straight up and straight down. In other words, it was not impulsive. When it let go, when it blew, when the flare happened, it stayed lit for a few hours, okay? Close to 3 hours, really, if you look at the beginning to the end. And then we had 2 M-class flares. And these weren't little baby ones either, okay? Especially the second one. That was like an M8, I think, or maybe an M7 flare. So we're talking close to X flare there also. So all these things were happening, and I believe, let's look at the NASA Enlil spiral, the CME tracker. Yeah, that is not the flare I showed you guys yesterday. This is a second CME, guys. This came from that bigger M flare. So if you remember, the X flare produced one very similar to this, but it was a little bit wider, so it encompassed Earth. Now, I want to say, if this model is off, even just a little bit, this could give us a decent hit too. Look at our orbital line over here. It's stretched out in a straight line, but you see where this hits. It does look like it hits us at least a glancing blow, even on this model. But if this CME is actually, or ICME, is a little bit more towards our right, I'm using right for a reason, okay? I'm not going to get into why right now, but I explained that yesterday. If it is just a little bit more to our right, we're going to take more of a direct hit from that one. Okay? So now we have a CME from an X-class flare moving fast, by the way. Close to, I think the initial readings was, what was it? Was it 2,000 kilometers per hour? Guys, that's fast. That's 2 days or less. Okay? I mean, that's moving. Now, that would probably be at the center of it, okay? Because these things tend to slow down towards their flanks. But, still, that means the overall eruption was fast. So, I'm looking for this thing to get here, well, frankly, within the next 24 hours. Maybe a little longer. If it isn't moving as quite as fast as what the initial report was. So, and this one here is the second one. That one's going to come in right behind it. So we're going to have all this geomagnetism hanging around, guys, and it's just going to build and build and build. And if it's cut close to each other, the initial smack from the X flare, the CME from the X flare, could push us up into like G2 levels. That's what they're warning for. They're warning for, and I think they might even be calling it a watch, but it would switch over to a warning if they're expecting it within 24 hours, which I think at this point now it is. But with that geomagnetic storm hitting from the X flare, we could see some issues from that, but we may even see bigger issues from the one behind it if it hits us more direct. Just simply because our magnetic field needs time to get back to normal. Okay. We're not going to be we're going to be moving around. We're going to be bouncing. I've shown you guys that a lot. But what I will do here is I want to take this to the 211 and show you the solar tsunami real quick. Okay. And while we're doing that, I can just take you guys over here. This is NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center, by the way. Okay. Notice the rest of the sun really doesn't have a whole lot of spots. Now this section does. This is where all the stuff's coming from. And if you remember, I did a video and I was talking about this sunspot when it was actually behind the limb, because I seen it coming in and it was active back then. It was blowing stuff off the back, and it was long duration flares then also, to the point where you could see these umbras peeking out over the limb. So most of us have had our eye on this for quite some time. It's not something that we didn't expect to see, because we've seen this stuff coming. All right. Now, I'm going to show you this again. I'm going to actually just push play. Well, I don't have to push play. I can just, maybe I do. Let's just push play and we'll watch it. Okay. And, so watch over here. You're going to see it ripple through. We're just going to wait on it. We're going to let it happen. Watch over here. And then there's the flare. Do you see how it rippled all the way across? One thing I am going to do here, though, I am going to slow this down. Okay. That'll help. Let's go ahead and let's just slow it down to 8, I guess. Okay, so watch over here again. Let me zoom in. Okay, here it comes. About. Okay, so y'all seen that, right? I mean, yeah. So we'll watch it a few times here. And then you'll see it go all the way across. It affected everything right there, guys. Okay, I mean, it rippled all the way across the whole face of the sun. So, in other words, it disrupted the corona. And they call that a solar tsunami for obvious reasons. Okay, and what you're looking at there basically is a tsunami of plasma. It's charged particles going through the corona there. Okay? So that's your solar tsunami. That's what, when you guys see that anywhere else, that's what they're talking about. Okay? And I know that some people use that to hype these events up and things like that. And, it's okay to do a little of that. And what I mean by that is you got to get people to watch, right? Now, again, if you're just completely just blowing it way out of proportion, that's a whole different story. Okay? You got to get, when you're trying to get new viewers and things like that to continue getting your information out to new people, you got to have something there that grabs them in, right? But you don't want to be dishonest either. And it's a hard line to fall to, but that's what I try to do. Hopefully my thumbnails and my titles don't ever mislead anybody, because that's never my intent. It's just I just want to make sure everybody sees, and hey, this is newsworthy and this is what's going on. So anyway, so as you see this thing blow off, you're going to see it ripple through again. I'm going to let you guys watch it one more time. And see that? I mean, it just amazes me. When you take into consideration how big the sun is and what's actually going on there, it's pretty amazing. If you believe in God, I tell you, man, what a wonderful job that was. Anyway, so now the next question is, we all know about the Japan earthquake and tsunami, right? I was on stream last night when that happened. I was here with you guys. I didn't know nothing about that earthquake because it happened while I was streaming. And I'm trying to think who put it in there first. I think it was can't remember who put it in there first. If you're here, please announce yourself. I just want to say thanks, because it just really is, right? But yeah. Anyway, so let's the Japan earthquake. I'm stopping here because I want you guys to look at this. This is that coronal hole, okay? And I said this before. When coronal holes are influencing the Earth, the chances of seismic activity increases drastically, okay? I don't like to use the word triggered, because it's not just one thing that causes an earthquake. It's everything combined. We just know that when there's coronal holes there facing us and we're being influenced by that, we do know, and you can see it in the data. Every time that's happening, most of the time we'll see a significant uptick, okay, in seismic activity. So we've seen that, and we've seen, unfortunately, we did see the tsunami, and there were people that passed away, guys, okay? At first, USGS was kind of downplaying that, and I showed that to you guys, and I don't necessarily think maybe they were trying to downplay, like, the death part of it. They were just underestimating what was going on. And sometimes it's better to do that, especially at the onset of these things, because you don't want to scare the crap out of people. Now, if you notice, guys, look, remember yesterday during this whole event, if anybody watched me yesterday, the only box here that was red was this one, the felt map. They're all red now, and let me show you why. Remember I told you guys to click on the pager button? That'll give you, like, probably the best, like, just general information on what's going on and what they think is going to happen. Now look at this, guys. Remember yesterday? 0 to 1 here on the estimated fatalities was where? 65%. That was completely wrong. 46%, 10 to 100 people. I mean, that just makes me sick to look at those numbers. I know in the grand scheme of things, 100 people is whatever, but it's still 100 people. It's 100 people's moms, dads, kids, family members, loved ones, whatever, right? So we don't ever downplay that here on my channel at all, ever. It makes me sick to see that kind of thing. I hate it. And then you can just top it off to the economical loss. Look what they're saying here, guys. This is calculated in US dollar millions. 1,000 millions is what that means. Not $1,000. 10,000 millions. 35% chance of that being what this all pans out to be. There was major fires going on. The tsunami caused issues. Okay? So if we go down here and look now, their total, let's see if it's got it down here. As all these reports started trickling in, look at Chiba here. 920,000 people felt a light shaking. That's a lot of people. Okay, that was in the city of Chiba. So, yeah. Now, obviously, these numbers would be wrong, unless it's just kind of like zeroing in here. But you guys can go look at this for yourself, and I highly encourage you to do so. It's just really sad when we see these things. I hate it. I truly do. I hate reporting on this stuff. I just don't like it. I try to do the opposite of this, and just give people a little sense of peace around certain things. And the only thing I can say about this is, if you pray, you pray. Please pray for these people. If you send good thoughts and love, send that over to them, whatever, right? But it's just sad, And I know it's a cliche to say, well, let's just put ourselves in that position and then think about it. And that's cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Okay? Because it actually is true. If you do that and really do that, you will get a sense of what those people are going through, and your view on the whole situation will change. I promise. you know, and I ain't telling people to feel all sad and moping around and all that. I'm just saying we need to be aware when, you know, what's going on around us when people are having a hard time, so we can at least cut them a break if they need it. That's what I'm saying. So, hey Jerry, good to see you. Hey Stephanie. Okay, so let's just move on. And again, guys, they had aftershocks. There were some earthquakes in Russia, which we're not going to be able to see those here on USGS. There were some pretty decent ones. I don't really know exactly how tall the tsunami got. I know they were talking like 5 meters at one point. But I think it came in at like 5 feet. It was like the tallest one that I've seen. But again, yeah. So anyway, let's just go back here. So what can we expect, right? I'm just going to take you here, and we're going to go and we're going to look at what we can expect to happen here. They're forecasting G1 here in the next 6 hours. Okay, this is UTC time. Okay, if you live on the East Coast, what you can do is you can subtract 4 hours from that, and that would be your time. Okay, so in other words, we got 3, 6, 9, so about 5 hours. Well, it would be 5 a.m. is when they would expect we should be seeing these conditions. Now, I also want to say this: they give themselves a buffer of 7 hours both directions. It can be short; it could come 7 hours sooner, or it could come 7 hours later than what they're forecasting. Okay, I don't think that their timing's off too much here, in my opinion. I'm not so sure I agree with the G1. Okay, I do think we're going to get higher storm level than that. That's just my opinion. Now, if we don't, we don't, and that's why I nowcast. And again, I have to say, a lot of it depends on what the BZ, right? You guys are going to hear me say that so much, it's crazy. But I would highly encourage you guys to come over here to Discover and really check this out. Okay, really, I really would. I would highly encourage you guys to do that. All you got to do is look. It's right there for you to see. So, let's take a look at our magnetic field right now, okay? Let's see if this one, okay. This is our magnetosphere models, okay? These are the newer models. They give us a better visual than just those lines that we used to get over on ISWA. You got to think of our magnetopause as Earth is sitting in the middle of a slinky, okay? These are not straight lines, guys. Okay? This is a two-dimensional thing trying to represent something that's three-dimensional. So you got to keep that in mind, and that's why they give you two different cuts here. They give you equatorial plane, they give you the meridial plane. So you got north-south on the right there, and you got dawn and dusk here on the left. All the space weather should, most of the time, come from the direction of the sun. Okay? That's why you see everything moving from left to right here. Now, this is velocity. This is what we're experiencing right now. The darker reds would mean faster. Okay? And when they're measuring this by polarity. Okay, guys? Let me explain that for a minute. When you see the dark blues, that's actually the same speed as the dark reds. It's just moving the opposite direction. Okay? So you're going to see blues kind of pop in over here from time to time, like right there. You see that? What's happening is that's a reconnection point. Well, what happens is the stuff hits us from here and it goes here, and then the polarity will actually grab it, and it'll appear as if it came in from behind, which it did, but it started in the front. Okay? That's the majority of the stuff we see when we see these darker blue colors. Okay? You know, I'm not saying we can't get cosmic rays and other stuff from behind us, because we most certainly do. But for what we're looking at here, that ain't what we're seeing. Okay? So, we can take a look at the density, and Again, what we're looking at here is just density, how dense the particles are. That's why you see a bow shock here that is kind of more compressed than what you see here. The bow shock is where the solar wind or any kind of space weather meets our magnetic field. It's the first point of contact, okay? The only way that that bow shock is not here is if the solar wind goes completely away or our magnetic field goes completely away. And if either one of those things happen, we're not having this conversation. So I'll end that part of it right there. So when you hear people screaming, the bow shock is down. I used to think that happened. And I used to do that too until I actually understood what I was looking at. So when you look at this, see how the bow shock is kind of bent more? This isn't really the bow shock. Okay, yes, it's curved, but what you're seeing is the bow shock is still out here. It's just the density of the particles are the same on this side of the bow shock as it is right here on this side of it. This is representing density only. That's it. That's why sometimes it appears there's not a bow. See, you guys see that? That was a perfect example. Wow. I can't even believe that just happened when I was talking about it. I'll show you. Show you exactly what I mean. See how the bow shock looks like it's right here? Watch what happens. Well, I must have missed it. Look at it right there. See that? That is a perfect example of what I was just talking about. Before that showed up right there, you would have thought that if you were just going to look at this one model, that the bow shock would be back here. It's not. It's out here. That's why you see that happening. And it's coming in as waves. It's just a, it's a perfect example. I can't believe that actually happened right there while I was talking about it. So, again, see how it looks like it disappears? It didn't disappear. It's still there. And that's what I'm trying to say. Now, it does get compressed, okay? And it can get compressed way back into the satellite line. It happens. It's called compression, and typically when that compresses in like that, we do take harder hits. But we also, when we finally win that battle, it will get what they call rapid expansion, and the bow shock will shoot straight out and be off of this chart. The bow shock will actually be way out here, where this model can't even show it. So that does happen. That's a real thing. But it doesn't mean that the bow shock isn't there. It is. Okay? Now this is pressure. Everybody understands what pressure is. It's magnetic pressure. Just grab your hand and squeeze it. That's pressure. It's kind of like what you're seeing here. Now, again, when you see the darker reds, that's more pressure, right? I'm just going to pause it. Now you're going to see it almost appears to have two bow shocks, and we kind of, I'm not going to get into why we see that, but we kind of do, and we kind of don't. I'm not going to go into what that all is. But if you guys want more information on that, just read up on the magnetosphere. And, if you got to read it 10 times, read it 10 times so you understand it. But this is what we see right now. So, and then we start getting hit right here on the end. Okay? This is what's happening right now. Okay? So, right now we're under more pressure than we have been most of the day. So, what I'm saying is stuff is starting to arrive. Now, I would look, if this thing swings back down into the negative, we're going to go into storm level, in my opinion. Okay, because right now we're sitting at a positive right now of 5, looks like. Okay? And if you go over here and look, we're still at a 2.5 or 3 on the geomagnetic activity. So when these things start hitting again, or they increase, we're already sitting right there. So if our BZ swings back to the south, you're going to see us take a hit, a pretty decent one, in my opinion. And it's probably going to happen when that CME arrives. Now, also, you will see sometimes the numbers will go low for a period of time right before we take a big hard hit. Okay? We're sensing, our magnetic field is sensing all that stuff coming, and it's starting to prepare itself. That's the best way I can give you a layman's understanding of what's going on there. And there's a lot of science behind all that would take forever to explain, and obviously it would take probably at least one full video to explain all that. Probably a series of videos. But when you start seeing the density increasing, which is what we're seeing right now at the present time, the BZ's moving, no matter if it's moving north or south, the speed's increasing, and the temperature's rising. What's that telling us? That's telling us something's influencing our magnetic field right now. We're getting ready to take a hit, probably from that CME. Okay? The X-flare that produced that the CME from that X-flare. Now again, with the tsunami and stuff in Japan, remember guys, whenever you see a coronal hole, especially one this big, always remember that's going to increase seismic activity. Even if we didn't have the big earthquake yesterday, we would have been seeing seismic upticks. You can see it, even when they're smaller. But there were a lot of people talking about a decent quake going to happen within like this week time frame because of this coronal hole and the fact that we hadn't had a really, really big one in quite some time. That means that pressure is building up. So hopefully that's enough pressure release that we can, take a breath for a minute. And then we don't get quakes somewhere else. And again, speaking about quakes, go over and check out Ron over at Emergency Management Associates. If one of my mods want to put that in the chat, that would be awesome. Guys, go check him out, Ron Tyler. Tell him Wages World sent you. Ron's one of my friends, guys. Check him out. He's a cool dude. Very, 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 very good guy. I don't like to send people to people that aren't good guys or good girls. And he's definitely one on the good side. So, anyway. And he's also, guess what? He's very dedicated to what he does. So, anyway, Marv and Dex, you guys got to check them out. Check out Trinity, too. Trinity Red Pill, Blue Pill. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. She did a stream earlier, just about an hour ago. I didn't see it again. On that point, guys, if you're not getting notifications and you got the bells turned on, for those that don't know, when you click that bell to turn on notifications when I post, or when anybody posts, you want to be notified of that, hit all notifications on that channel. Okay, that little bell at the bottom. If you don't, you're only going to get periodic notifications. It's still going to notify you, but you're not going to get every one. So, I actually went in and checked my notifications, and my notifications wasn't set up right on quite a few of the channels I watch. So I got to fix that tonight. But please go check out Trinity. Such a good girl. Awesome woman. I'm telling you guys, she's yeah. I would not send you to somebody that wouldn't be there for the right reasons, and she's there for the right reasons. So, okay, now, let's go check out seeds real quick. I don't think we're going to see much. Nope. What I will do is I will show you the X flare again. We're not going to get a chance to see the M flare because seeds hasn't updated. I can show you Soho on, this is Soho, guys. The satellite sits 1,000,000 miles closer to the sun than what we are. Always stays out in front of us, and it's always looking at the sun. Okay? So if I start this, well, we're going to have to do it this way. Okay, that's the X flare, guys. I mean, it was, sizable. I mean, it really was. What we could do, I guess, is just look at the 31st. That's when it happened. And I pointed this out yesterday, too. There wasn't just that X flare. We had multiple flares yesterday. Okay? I'm going to slow this down. We'll slow it down to 5. So we can get a decent look at this. Now, it happened at like 2100 hours, I think. 21 or 20, there it went. Right there. Okay? So if I reverse it, we'll just do this. See that? The X flare is there on the left. So you guys can see. Now let me go back forward a little bit, and I'm going to pause it. Right there. Oh, back one. Okay, you see this? That's a plasma you're seeing. This is a difference image, is what they call that. I'm not going to get into what that actually is right now, but this isn't a black occulter disc. It's an actual disc on the imager. Has to be there to block the main light of the sun, or the imager couldn't even take an image. Over here on the right side, you see this white circle? That right there is the surface of the sun. Okay, so this is not. That's more of the corona. It's kind of blocking the corona of the sun. And a fun fact that people don't know yet, the surface of the sun is actually colder than the atmosphere. They sent the Parker SP probe, the satellite that quote-unquote kissed the sun, into the corona of the sun. First one of its kind that did it. And they were able to take some data from inside there, and they're starting to get some pretty good ideas on why that the atmosphere itself is hotter than the surface. Okay? I just got a text from Trinity telling me, so I'm on my way. Nah, don't worry about it, girl. I mean, you just got off your stream. I missed your stream, so, I mean, come on. Anyway. So, yeah. So what can we expect from here, right? And I know a lot of people are probably asking that question. So a good way to do that is to actually come down here. You go over here to NOAA. And again, if I could get a mod to put that link in there. Notice the page I'm on right now. We go here, reports. Let's see here. What can we expect? Impacts. Electrical power, climate. Holes. There's one here that actually will, I'll tell you, I got a shortcut for it. Let me just use that. Let's use that one. Yeah, it's the scales is what this is going to show us. Okay? What are we seeing here? This is geomagnetic storms. So I'm not going to read these to you because you guys are very well capable of doing that yourself. So let me say this. Just come over here and read this. Right? So during a G1 storm, all this stuff is expected. G2, that's what's expected. Right? So we're going to talk about G3 here. Voltage corrections may be required. False alarms triggered on some protection devices. In other words, GFCIs can trip out for no reason. Except for what we're talking about, right? Spacecraft operation. Surface charging. That's a big deal. It's exactly what you think it is. The surface of the satellites are getting charged. It's just like when you walk across the floor in the wintertime with your socks on, and you want to be a jerk to your brother, sister, or your significant other, and you get about 2 inches from their nose while they're sleeping with your finger, and watch that blue spark just zap the crap out of them, then you get to sit down and laugh for a good minute before you get smacked. But that's exactly what's happening with surface charging. Okay? That it's just collecting that energy, right? So when you start seeing those things happen, that stuff starts shorting out. They have to correct the satellites to keep them in orbit the right way. And the stuff just gets progressively intense as you go up, right? Now, when we're talking about like a G5, widespread voltage control problems, okay, systems may experience complete collapse or blackouts. You guys hearing that? Guys, we got to a G4 earlier this year. Well, back in 2023. Okay? It just is what it is. So, yeah. Anyway, I see. That's funny, Miss D. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing about what's going on there. Yeah. World leaders, right? Wow. At least that's creative. Gave me a laugh anyway. Sorry, you guys. You guys probably couldn't see all that. Anyway. So. Oh, and let me say this to you guys. One thing that I don't say that I haven't said this in a long time. We will not absolutely talk about any other channel in a bad way here. Okay? We don't allow people to do that because it's just not productive and it's not positive. Okay? So if you see a mod or if you yourself have an opinion about another channel and you don't know that rule, I get it, right? You're just voicing your opinion on somebody. But if it's too much, we just don't allow that to happen because it starts drama. Because inevitably there's going to be somebody in the chat that's going to disagree with you very harshly, and it just starts a whole bunch of mess. Not to mention that you're disrespecting somebody that's not here. They can't even defend themselves. So what I'm saying is we just don't allow that to happen. You're allowed to have your opinion and voice your opinion on any topics you want, but we're not going to attack somebody personally. So I haven't said that in a long time. I just want everybody to understand that. Trinity is in the house. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Man, that dude, they must have like 5,000 sock accounts. Do the best you can, guys. Can't do nothing about it, mods. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for doing that for me. In case you guys don't know, we got somebody in here coming in here with a bunch of sock accounts right now. And all they're doing is coming in under world leaders' names and like writing the word okay. So that's what they're doing. Anyway, it gives me a laugh. I laugh at it, but it is what it is. Doesn't need to be there, but anyway. So, yeah, guys. And I usually don't give that much attention to any of that. You guys know that. I trust my mods, and that's where I leave it. If something needs fixed after the fact, if you think you got banned either on accident, that does happen. If that happens, by all means, please email me, and I will I will fix that. Okay? Or if you think you got unfairly banned, all you got to do is email me. And then I'll talk to the moderator, and if it's something... And I will say this, though, okay? If they warn you, and then after that you get banned, it's going to be real hard for me to unban you. I'm not going to do that to my mod. So, just so you know. Alright, guys. So, that's kind of what you guys would see here, guys. Go read these, right? And not only do they have the geomagnetic storm level scales, they got radiation storms, right? That's the proton flux. Okay, then you got the radio blackouts. This is what happens with flares, right? We got to a R3 yesterday. Wide area blackout of high-frequency radio communication. Loss of radio contact for about an hour on the sunlit side of the Earth. Low-frequency navigation signals degraded for about an hour. Okay? So nav systems would have issues. This becomes an issue for people that are driving boats a lot. Because our planet is 70% water. So you got to understand when the flare hits, it's going to affect a lot of people out there on the water. And that's, it'll affect their navigation systems. Now, most of them have more than one navigation system. And most of them will know how to use a sextant. So they'll be able to still navigate even if they had no power. But, anyway. That's kind of what you would expect for any of that kind of stuff, guys. I kind of forgot to tell you that yesterday. I kind of felt bad after I got off stream. But, listen. I want you guys to pay attention tonight, especially. If we see anything happen like big time, if anybody here takes aurora photography and they want to send me some pictures, I most certainly will show them. Okay? Anybody has anything that they think is pertinent to what I'm talking about, send it to me. I have no problem, right, showing it to you guys. Now, if you look here on the A-stat, it looks like the BZ's dropping back down again. Sure does. Let's go here to Discover and see. Yep. See what I'm saying, guys? Look. Right here. It's starting to, you're seeing the BT and the BZ start to spread out here. The BZ is going to go back negative. It already is. It's -1 right now. If that gets down to -6, most likely it's going to even go lower. You're going to see geomagnetic storms happen. And look when all this started, right? Everything started to move at the same time. So this is very indicative of a CME impact. So we're probably starting to get the first waves of things coming in from that CME, from that flare yesterday. Okay. Well, maybe not. Trying to happen on the 31st. Yeah, it'd be way early. Man, I'm having a hard time with that. This may be the CIR. But we went into this up here. I mean, I guess we could be having Corona whole stream too. That could be what's going on with that also. It's really hard to forecast when we got all that stuff going on, guys. It really is. I'll say this. If this is actually the CME hitting us now, that means it got here faster than what they thought. And if that's the case, it's going to be stronger than what they thought. Now, with that being said, if it's not the CME, then everything stays as what we were talking about. But in my opinion, if I had to pick a G-level storm that we're going to get to, and I'm going to be conservative on this, I'm going to say G2. Probably high-end G2. If everything lines up perfect, we could see G3, G4. Depends on the exact direction of that CME. Now again, remember, this thing rippled, guys, through the whole face of the sun. What's that mean? That means the potential is there for a more direct hit, right? I mean, I hope people understand that, because that's what's going on here. Okay? And that's just what it is. So, but yeah. So we'll take a look at this one more time here. One thing I will show you again. Oh, there's one more thing. See, I keep forgetting certain things. I want to show you this. This is the HP. I showed you guys. Let's go over here. This, right? This right here is the KP. These are 3-hour averages. These bars here. If we go over here to the German website, here's your HP 30. Okay, these are 30-minute data plots, not 3 hours. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, right now we know that we're at a 3. But if you average all of this out, it's going to be in the middle here. It's not even going to be a 3. So what I'm saying is, it's not as, we're getting more real time right here. Okay? And we can tell when things are starting to creep up, and that's what's going on right now. So everything I was just talking about is confirmed by what I showed you. You know, this, VZ. What's that? The magnetosphere. These models are showing what's going on. Okay? Let me hit play here. So when we start seeing these things, that's what's going on. Let me pause it. Okay? So, yeah, you see what's going on there? See how we took that little bit of a hit? And watch this go a little bit lighter. But do you notice what happened right there? Watch our bow shock move from right to left. That's us winning that battle for a minute. And it's also indication of it's like a reverberation. We're bouncing around. Our magnetic field's getting bounced around. When that's happening, stuff gets in easier. It comes in easier on the poles. Okay? And with that being said, let me show you this. I haven't looked at this yet. Okay? Let's take a look at the geoelectric model. This is a newer one, guys. This is the electrical field, the geoelectrical field at the surface of our planet. Okay, wherever you're at. This one here recently has included Canada now, which is awesome. They're using this to try to bridge a gap between space weather and earthquake forecasting. So this is very relevant to what we're talking about right now, given everything that's been happening. I got a lot of questions. People asking me, do I think that the flare caused the earthquake? No, I do not think that the flare caused the earthquake. Do I think it could have influenced and added a little bit to us? Yes, I think that. But I also more so think that the coronal hole that we were exposed to for multiple days probably just build up and build up and build up. And that's where the seismic issue came in. Okay, yes, the flare can add stuff. We see it all the time. And we've also been talking about these polar stratospheric clouds. Those little clouds that look like aurora. They really do. But they only happen during really cold. It has to be really cold in the stratosphere. So they're typically hanging around in the Arctic, but they were creeping down far south again. What that means is our stratosphere got really, really cold, unexpectedly. And then guess what happened? It did the reverse really, really quick. We had a rapid increase in the temperature of it. So obviously those clouds would subside, but what does that mean? Well, it's another indication that we are definitely going towards solar maximum, but also that means our polar jet stream that moves from left to right here on our planet, right? It steers our weather. When that happens, that rapid increase in the stratosphere, it's an indication that we possibly could get a stoppage or a stall in that polar jet stream, and it could even move the other direction. It could reverse direction. Okay? You ever heard of the term the beast from the east? That wasn't just I don't like you saying the word CHIN, that word. Okay? We've used that to explain them also, but that came from a weather term. Because when that storm starts moving back that other way, it's coming from the east. And that happened, I believe, last year. Okay? Matter of fact, I know it did. We talked about it. The polar jet stream stopped and actually reversed. It's a big deal when that happens. Now, is it something that has never happened? No, it happens from time to time. It's just extremely rare. Now, the more and more it happens, if it happens way more than it's supposed to, which, in my opinion, if we start seeing that often, then yeah, we need to start looking at some more things. So, and also, like noctilucent clouds, it really stinks that we don't have that satellite they were using for it. They were having issues getting data from that thing. Noctilucent clouds, anybody that doesn't know, they're blue metallic looking clouds. Okay? What I'll do, let's just do it this way. They're blue metallic looking clouds, and what they are, it's moisture that freezes around meteor dust. Okay? And I'll show you what I mean. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you this because this is spaceweather.com. All right? What's he talking? Hey, there he is. He's talking about that too. Look, I think I remember now. He actually did a report on that last week. The PSC, those clouds. So come over here and give him some love, Dr. Phillips. But this is the model that they're using to show noctilucent clouds. Okay? But let me show you this. Because they're getting the data, it's different. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Anybody that's been with me for over a year has already seen what I'm getting ready to show you. Let's go back to January 2nd. Daggone it. What the heck is... What the heck is going on? Stupid thing. Okay, anyway. Let's go back to 2021, just to make sure. So I'm going to hit view. This is what was being reported January 2nd, 2021 over here at spaceweather.com. See this model? That's what we used to get. And you would see this light up in blue, like a lighter blue color. And those would be where the noctilucent clouds were. And it was a good indication to see, you know, if they started creeping towards the equator. It's an indication of, hey, you know, it ain't normal weather. Because, believe it or not, guys, it's an indication of things being warmer. Because when it's warmer, especially around the poles, you got glacier melt and things like that. It adds moisture. So when moisture starts getting high up into the stratosphere, into the upper parts of our atmosphere, it gets cold up there, right? So it freezes. When it freezes around meteor dust that's hanging around. So it creates these blue metallic looking clouds. So it's just an indication that things are warmer, basically, in the winter time of that hemisphere. That's all I'm saying. So, but anyway, so we got that. I wanted to explain that because I haven't explained that in a minute. But come over here and give Dr. Phillips some love. He does a really good job over here. Okay. So, I still see we got world leaders in the chat. Anyway, you guys doing a heck of a job, Mod Squad. I love you. For real. Okay, so, again, guys, I want to keep an eye on this for you. If anything happens, I will be back with you as soon as I possibly can. We'll just watch this as I finish out here. But listen, again, please try to share this out for me if you would. It really does help a lot. And I do really appreciate it. I'm looking at, and again, you guys can see I'm trying to stream about every night, every chance I get. And that's going to continue. But go over and check out all the channels I always talk about. Tommy over on the lifeboat. They're doing great things over there. Marfugal, obviously. Most of you guys are probably here from Marfugal. A lot of you are. Trinity, Rip Curl Readiness is doing videos again. Go check him out. He's killing it. And if I miss your name, I apologize, guys. I just got so many people that really do help me. Okay? So I am going to kind of end it there for now, for tonight. So again, guys, please come back tomorrow. I'm going to try to stream. If anything happens, like big time, I'll come on and let you know. If we get into like a G3 or a G4, I will definitely go live almost immediately. Okay? That's just what I do. So, if not, I'll be back with you guys most likely tomorrow night. And we'll do this all again. We'll keep an eye on it and see what's happening. Go check out Tim with the Scope too, guys. Go check her out. You want to learn? Go over there. I'm telling you. You want to learn some really good college level stuff explained in a way that you can understand it? It's free college, guys. Go check her out. Tim with the Scope. She's in my description. So, anyway, guys, my battery's running low on my laptop again. So I'm going to have to go ahead and cut off. But, yeah. So, we are going to, we're going to end it there. So, God bless. Yahusha saves. You can drink this Kool-Aid.